Neo-Shanghai. The quantum computing district rose like a forest of glass and steel against the pollution-stained sky. Its towers were wreathed in the ethereal glow of probability fields, mathematics made visible, equations worn like atmosphere. In a forgotten sub-basement, deep beneath the corporate spires, Dr. Marcus Chen worked on the equation that would end the world. He did not know this yet. He only knew that he was close. The air around him crackled with mathematical potential. The quantum processors hummed their warning song. He knew he should stop. He knew some equations were never meant to be solved. He pressed forward anyway. Before the equations, before Neo-Shanghai consumed him, before Zero swallowed everything. Marcus Chen was a man who had once loved a woman so completely that when she disappeared from his life, he turned to mathematics to fill the space she left. Her name was Debian. She had green eyes and a mind that moved like water around obstacles. He had not spoken her name aloud in 11 years. He told himself he had forgotten her. He had not forgotten her. On the outskirts of what was once ancient farmland, now absorbed by Neo-Shanghai's quantum sprawl, a different kind of mathematics exists. Not digital, not theoretical. Old. 3,000 years ago, a samurai battle was fought on this ground. The losing warriors, unwilling to be erased from existence, bound their spirits to the largest tree on the hill using forbidden witchcraft. They did not consider what they were creating. They only knew they could not bear to end. The tree remembers everything. It has been waiting for someone to open the right door. Inside the bum-fit matrix, a digital world disguised as a fitness application, souls have been training since before living memory. They did not choose to be there, but they chose to stay. The ones who remained did so willingly, devoted to fitness, to discipline, to the service of others. They found in the app's coded world something the physical world rarely offers: purpose without corruption. But somewhere, deep in the calculation stack, a division by zero is approaching like a sunrise no one ordered. And when zero divides, doors open that were never meant to exist. Debian had given up 3 identities to buy this one. In Japan, there are agencies, never advertised, never acknowledged, that specialize in ending lives that haven't ended yet. A new name, new biometrics, new history, new silence. Debian had paid for this silence with the only currency such agencies accept: information and the willingness to disappear. 2 men thought Debian was dead. One of them had turned to mathematics. The other had turned to shadows. She watched them both from the dark, calculating her own equation, the one she hadn't solved yet. Whether to let them destroy themselves, or step into the light and admit what she had done. The Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. The tree does not struggle to blossom. It blossoms because it is its nature. What force tears itself apart to become more than it was? What wisdom refuses to ask why? To know others is wisdom. To know yourself is enlightenment. To master others requires force. To master yourself requires stillness. The crane does not ask permission from the sea, it simply crosses. Some equations were never meant to be solved. He had been tracking the anomaly for 3 days. A mathematician in a sub-basement, running calculations that made the city's quantum infrastructure shudder in its sleep. He knew the name attached to the research access code. He had not spoken that name in 11 years either. The calculations are complete. One simple division. That's all it takes to tear the fabric of reality. They called me mad, but I've found it. The mathematical key to immortality. In that moment of divine calculation, as his trembling finger executed the final command, Marcus Chen ceased to be merely human. The division by zero, that mathematical impossibility, tore through the fabric of existence itself. His flesh became probability. his bones transformed to pure mathematical theory. The first Xeroman was born in a flash of impossible light, his consciousness exploding across infinite parallel realities. In 1,000 parallel Neo-Shanghais, 1,000 versions of Marcus Chen screamed in unified ecstasy. Matter cannot be created or destroyed. When something is born on one side of reality's membrane, something must enter on the other. The divide by zero event in Marcus Chen's sub-basement had opened the primary portal. But 3 kilometers away, at the base of a tree that had been cursed for 3,000 years, a second door groaned open in the dark. The bum-fit matrix had held its inhabitants in careful digital equilibrium. But equilibrium requires balance, and balance had just been shattered.
The quantum computing district shuddered. In 1,000 parallel Neo-Shanghais, 1,000 versions of Marcus Chen screamed in unified ecstasy as the boundaries between mathematics and flesh dissolved. He had become something new, something impossible. A living paradox that existed in the spaces between equations. The quantum processors were overloading. His calculations were forcing the system to attempt the impossible. My calculations didn't just divide reality, they multiplied it. Each solution spawning infinite variations. 0 divided by 0. Infinite possibilities. Infinite power. In the shadows of a probability-warped alley, another figure watched. This one's eyes gleamed with recognition, with understanding, and with something else. Something hungry. He had known this moment was coming. He had calculated it precisely. The question was never whether Marcus Chen would divide by 0. The question was what to do with the door once it opened. Water is the softest thing in the world, yet it carves canyons. The ocean does not seek, it simply is. In that moment, as mathematics and reality collided, the second Xeroman was born. Neither human nor machine, but something that existed in the spaces between equations. I am infinite. I am Octobrain. In breaking the laws of mathematics, he had become something beyond the laws of nature itself. Both power and horror. This wasn't just a transformation, it was a fundamental violation of reality's rules. The room itself began to fragment, walls and floor becoming uncertain in their solidity. Marcus, or what had once been Marcus, moved through the dissolving space with newfound grace, each step calculating its own trajectory through probability space. His consciousness expanded exponentially. He was aware of every possible outcome, every quantum state, every mathematical permutation of existence. The security systems, designed to protect against conventional threats, sparked and died as his presence overwhelmed their binary limitations. Through the failing cameras, security personnel watched in horror as their monitors displayed a being that existed in multiple states simultaneously, a walking violation of everything they understood about reality. I can feel them all, every version of me, every choice, every outcome rippling through the multiverse like waves in an endless ocean of probability. He had wanted immortality. He had found something closer to omniscience. And in the space between those two things, he discovered what Marcus Chen had never allowed himself to feel. Grief. Infinite, branching, uncontainable grief. In every parallel reality, in every version of this moment, in not a single one had she stayed. Matter cannot be created or destroyed. When something crosses from the bum-fit matrix into the physical world, the equation must balance. 3 kilometers from Marcus Chen's laboratory, at the base of Moku's cursed tree, the dark portal had yawned open. What came through was not invited. What came through was not expected. What came through had been waiting in the space between universes for exactly this kind of opening. The alien did not speak. It simply began to calculate its position and decided to stay.
In the shadows of a probability-warped alley, another figure watched. This one's eyes gleamed with recognition, with understanding, and with something else, something hungry. Zero? Zero? Ink? No, don't pull the handle. You see only the surface. Division by zero? A child's game. I found something far more fundamental, the power to rewrite the syntax of mathematics itself. You thought you were the first, the only one to see the truth hiding in the divide by zero paradox. We are but variables in an equation larger than ourselves. The oldest things do not shout. The tree that has survived 1,000 storms does not boast of its roots. It simply continues. What endures is not always what is loudest. What endures is what is most itself. The bridge does not choose who crosses it. The wise and the foolish walk the same stones. The difference lies not in the bridge, but in where each believes they are going. Ink had been one of the first to find the truth in the spaces between equations, long before Marcus Chen had even picked up his calculator. He had not divided by zero. He had been born from the remainder. The theoretical frameworks were collapsing. Every quantum probability was converging into a single point of mathematical chaos. What have we become? You're not just manipulating them, you're corrupting them. Around them, reality began to bleed like wet ink, numbers and symbols running together in streams of pure mathematical potential. Ink had dedicated his existence to protecting the integrity of the equations, the underlying mathematics of reality that held existence together. He had found the reality brush. He had wielded it carefully, surgically, with reverence. What Marcus Chen had done in one careless moment of ambition was the equivalent of spilling paint across a masterwork. Ink felt betrayed. You did this. You will pay. 3,000 years ago, the same ground, a different equation. The samurai who refused to die had found a way to remain, binding their spirits to the oldest tree on the hill through blood ritual and forbidden mathematics. They called it preservation. History would call it a curse. The tree absorbed them, and the tree remembered. And now, 3,000 years later, someone had opened the door between worlds, and the tree was done waiting. The difference between us? I don't just manipulate the equations. I am the equation. I am ink. You are not worthy to hold the reality brush. The very ink of reality began to run like wet paint as two impossible beings prepared to rewrite the fundamental laws of existence. You fool, can't you see? We're not just breaking the equations, we're becoming the variables themselves. I am worthy ink. The reality brush hung suspended in quantum space, its bristles dripping with the raw potential to rewrite existence.
There's something you haven't considered in your calculations. The mathematical anomaly manifested as a crimson sphere, reality condensing into a perfect circle of chaos. The probability matrix was destabilizing. Each calculation spawned a new singularity, a new way to break what was already broken. Return to the root is called stillness. Stillness is called returning to one's destiny. Returning to one's destiny is called the eternal. He who does not know the eternal acts blindly and courts disaster. You see only numbers. But I see the spaces between them, the void where meaning itself is born. The true power lies in the ink that writes the equations themselves. The fools think they understand the power of infinity, but they've forgotten about prime numbers. They seek to divide by zero. I'll show them what happens when you multiply by infinity's prime factors. Self-destruct in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The prime number warrior's final calculation was complete. Wrong answer, right conclusion. The prime number warrior's detonation had done more than destroy itself. The explosion had torn an opening in the membrane between Moku's portal and the primary probability space. 3 things came through. They were not bum-fit warriors seeking fitness. They were not alien observers cataloging new worlds. They fell with the certainty of the purposeful. Sent, not arriving. Deployed, not escaped. Someone had been waiting for exactly this opening. The bum-fit protocols weren't just about physical enhancement. They were about breaking the mathematical limits of human potential. And these warriors had been training in the apps matrix for what felt to them like centuries. Water benefits 10,000 things and does not compete. It occupies the low places men disdain. It is simply there. And it waits. He had been inside the matrix for what felt like a lifetime. He had gone in willingly, had trained willingly, had helped others willingly. The Divide by Zero event had opened a door. He had walked through it not because he was escaping, but because he sensed that out here someone needed what he carried. He did not know the city. He did not understand the equations, but he understood suffering. And he understood purpose. He would learn the rest on the way. An analog solution in a digital realm. Fascinating. The sword wielder moved with perfect angular precision, each stance a theorem of classical geometry made flesh. You've forgotten the oldest mathematics, the pure angles of the blade, the perfect arc of a killing stroke. Your quantum mathematics mean nothing against the geometry of cold steel. He was right, in a way that none of the quantum warriors could quite calculate. There were equations older than mathematics. The angle of a blade, the moment of stillness before action, the decision to strike, your movements. They're not just geometric, they're trained, optimized. He recognized bum-fit training when he saw it. He had once been inside the Matrix too. Their battle, the transformed Marcus, the ink wielder, the prime number warrior's sacrifice, the sword wielder, had been merely the prelude to something far more profound. They had all been playing the opening move of a game they hadn't known was in progress. As Neo-Shanghai's quantum architecture crumbled around them, a terrible realization dawned.
Our mathematical warriors stood frozen in a moment of perfect uncertainty, knowing that their battle had been merely the prelude to something far more profound. In the quantum shadows below, someone who was supposed to be dead watched the men she had left become gods. She felt no satisfaction in being right. His name was Black Hawk. He had been many things inside the bum-fit matrix. Trainer, warrior, guardian of those who came to the app seeking transformation and found something more. Now he stood in a city that smelled of machine oil, broken physics, with a medieval knight at his back who kept asking what electricity was, and a cloaked figure ahead who had been following them for 6 blocks without introducing himself. You can come out. I can hear your probability field from 20 meters. Not all who came through the Divide by Zero portal arrived in Neo-Shanghai streets. Some emerged in the transitional spaces. The probability fog between the matrix world and the physical city. These spaces were neither fully real nor fully digital. They were the margin between equations. Here, the warrior known only as the Black Hawk did not stop to assess his surroundings. He had made his decision before he crossed. He would find those who needed what he carried. He would do it at full speed. The sword wielder's dance became a symphony of motion, each movement calculated with mathematical precision. Through the neon-lit alleyways of Neo-Shanghai, steel met steel in perfect geometric harmony. Your Euclidean theorems are impressive, but you've forgotten the chaos factor. The air crackled with potential energy as their combat transcended mere physical space, each strike creating ripples in the probability field. Reality fractured around them as the duel intensified. Multiple versions of each warrior existed simultaneously, their forms blurring across parallel timelines. This will end in stalemate. Every possible outcome exists simultaneously. In that moment of perfect understanding, both warriors recognized the truth. Their battle was merely prologue to a far greater conflict brewing in the shadows of Neo-Shanghai. In the depths of Neo-Shanghai's shadow districts, the mysterious figure known as Zero moved with deadly purpose. The vial of ink, its power calls to me. What ink began, I shall perfect. Each calculated gesture brought him closer to his target, the laws of physics bending subtly around his form. He had not come to wield the brush. Not yet. He had come to ensure that no one else did before he was ready.
The reality brush is more than just a tool. It's the key to rewriting the very syntax of existence. His ninja-like form twisted through space-time, each motion a carefully calculated variable in an equation too complex for ordinary minds to comprehend. Through the rain-slicked streets, something inhuman moved, a being that defied conventional physics. A student of Fitbull, the whispers echoed through the quantum data streams, the perfect fusion of biological enhancement and mathematical probability. Like a primal force given form, the mutant's muscles rippled with impossible equations, each movement a calculation of pure power. The quantum landscape shifts. Below, the bird-masked figure watched with keen interest. The pieces were falling into place. Fitbull's escape was just another variable in a much larger equation, and with it, the balance of power in Neo-Shanghai. Now he was done learning. Now he was done being patient. You cannot contain what you don't understand. His enhanced form cast strange shadows. In the neon light, the chains that once bound him now hung useless, probability fields shorting out around his massive frame. He had allowed them to think they held him. It had been a calculation. Learn the shape of the cage before breaking it. Know every variable in the equation before solving for X. High above Neo-Shanghai's bustling west loop, Zero tracked his target with mathematical precision. The highway stretched before him like a ribbon of probability, each vehicle a variable in his complex equation. The transport wasn't meant to be subtle. They wanted us to notice. But why? Below, the truck driver's grin revealed another piece of the puzzle, though he remained unaware of the shadow above. The West Loop's streams of data and traffic converged at this precise moment. Zero's calculations led him here, to this truck, to this driver, to this perfectly orchestrated accident waiting to happen. Sometimes he thought, positioning himself for the inevitable collision, the most complex problems require the simplest solutions. The city's grid stretched out before him, the West Loop sign marking the point where reality would soon fracture once again. His form moved through the quantum-laced night with impossible grace. He was not going to stop the truck. He was going to liberate what was inside it. Chaos and order, perfectly balanced. Time to add another variable to the equation. With impossible grace, he leaped onto the speeding truck. Reality warped around the impact point, probability waves rippling outward like quantum echoes. The transport vehicle began to tilt, its trajectory now irreversibly altered. Not just an accident, a catalyst.
The truck's cargo hold beckoned, its contents about to change the very fabric of Neo-Shanghai's delicate balance. The transport truck careened sideways, metals screaming against probability itself. As it toppled, the reinforced cargo doors burst open, revealing the darkness within. The chaos coefficient reaches critical mass. In the back of the crashed transport, something massive stirs. The darkness within is not empty. It breathes. Some say chaos is the enemy of order, but true power lies in knowing how to weaponize both. The disruption rippled through probability space, sending shockwaves through Neo-Shanghai's delicate quantum ecosystem. 1 mile away, beneath the bell tower coffee shop, alarms that had never sounded before began to sound. From the overturned truck emerged a figure, silhouetted against the stark light of Neo-Shanghai's endless twilight. Ironback stepped forward, his barista's apron replaced by the confidence of someone who knew exactly what he would find within. Time to wake the bull. The cargo container's doors swung wide, revealing the government's most closely guarded secret. Pitbull's massive form dominated the space, horns gleaming with quantum potential, chains hanging useless at his sides. They thought they could contain raw mathematical power. They never understood. Some equations are meant to be free. The meeting of barista and beast would send shockwaves through Neo-Shanghai's delicate power balance, just as Mr. Fedora had calculated. At the Bell Tower coffee shop, life appeared deceptively normal. Customers chatted over steaming cups, unaware of the quantum possibilities brewing beneath the surface. Every variable must be perfectly balanced. The coffee shop is just another equation in our grand calculation. Mr. Fedora watched it all through the lens of probability itself. In the hidden gym beneath the city's quantum grid, Ironback's true power began to manifest. Probability fields crackled around his form as he lifted weights that defied conventional physics. The bumfit protocols weren't just about physical enhancement. They were about breaking the mathematical limits of human potential. Steam rose from his body like quantum vapor, each droplet a calculation in the greater formula of power. In the stark corridors of power, security guards faced harsh interrogation. The rogue military organization's questions cut through the air like quantum razors. You were on duty when reality itself was compromised. Explain how mathematical anomalies slipped through your probability barriers. The sterile waiting room held dark secrets. The security breach was inevitable.
When you try to contain pure mathematical chaos, conventional parameters become meaningless. The interrogator's smile held no warmth, only calculated certainty as another piece of the quantum puzzle fell into place. Through the quantum shadows of his mind, the interrogator watched as memories of chaos unfolded. The security breach played out like a carefully orchestrated dance of probability and chance. Sometimes, the most interesting variables are the ones we choose not to control. His cane tapped a steady rhythm against the sterile floor as he manipulated the quantum threads of memory and possibility. Mr. Fedora sends his regards. The pieces were falling into place. Fitbull's escape, Octobrain's emergence, the mathematical anomalies spreading across Neo-Shanghai like a beautiful disease. The interrogator was not investigating the breach. He was confirming that it had gone according to plan. Tell me about the security feeds. Show me the moment when mathematics itself began to bleed. Two sides of the same quantum coin, order and chaos perfectly balanced. The enforcer's job was to make the guards afraid enough to remember everything. The interrogator's job was to be smart enough to know what the memories meant. Together, they were very effective. The story doesn't end here. Experience the full XeroMen Void graphic novel, download or purchase at XeroMen.com.